very well. So you should tell that story.
The house was, I guess the person that lived there before, which was the guy's father who passed away, didn't paint, didn't do anything, and the house was not in, I guess, the criminal process. Yeah, it wasn't show ready. So I hired people to come in and paint and change out the flooring. We didn't do cabinetry and any of the other stuff because my taste may be different than somebody else's. So I went in there almost every day to make sure they're doing the right thing and painting and this, that, and the next thing to get the house ready. And it showed very, very well. It was a very pretty house. It had a pool and whatnot, and I just made sure that it was, you know, what I would want to buy. If I was, you have to really, I believe that properties speak to the client, and if you take them into the right thing, it's going to not sell itself, but sell itself, because it speaks to you. And you have to really like what you do and let a client feel like they're at home, and that you have to give them the opportunity to connect with the house.
You also went and previewed.
Oh yeah,
Before,
I did a lot of previewing.
before she showed the property, she previewed the properties. Now I'll tell you, in our real estate world, we used to do that. Now we rely on the MLS and we rely on Zillow and everything else. But it made a big difference because when Edie, Edie keeps Jolene and I informed, and it made a difference because she knew, once they said something, she knew whether the other houses would mean that or not.
I actually am going to I have right now I'm working with a traveling doctor. He travels all over the world to, because he's an ER doctor. I'm actually going to preview 5 properties for him tomorrow. I don't want to waste it. My time is valuable. I don't want to waste his time, and I don't want to waste my time. So I'm going to look at these 5 properties tomorrow and see if it's a good fit for him.
Let me add to you, you said it was a 325.
Right.
Oh, okay. We have $1 million listing. Russell here, he's like the stager. And many, many times I would say, Russell, I'm going to show this, I run there, see if the bed is made. It's not because they are $1 million or over $1 million that they are ready to shop.
Right.
Sometimes you have to put the dishes in the dishwasher. Oh, I'm not their maid. I'm sorry, you are their maid if you want the big buck.
Right. I have actually.
So many times we have to make bets. And there was one lady, her apartment was almost going into foreclosure. It was $1.2 million, okay? And the floor was disgusting. It was marble floor, but she had big dogs. It was disgusting. And I didn't know how I'm going to approach her without insulting her. And then very nicely I said to her, look, people really comment on the floor. How about if I have it cleaned and then you pay me at closing? So one thing is you keep the listing, okay? They're not going to go somewhere else because they owe you money. And this to clean the marble floor is like $2,000, okay? So it's an investment. And she says to me, well, I don't know, I have to talk to my husband. I said, look, I think it's going to make a difference. I will advance the money and you will pay me at closing, that's all. And I know the property is going to sell. So she said, okay, and we cleaned the floor. She wasn't home when we did it. I said to her to take the dogs out, and we had the marble people come, meet us, they cleaned the floor and everything. She came at night, she called me, she says, oh my God, I didn't know my floor was so beautiful. Within 3 weeks, she got me the money. She did not wait for the closing. We did sell the property eventually, then she bought a house, and unfortunately she had a stroke, so we found her an apartment because she couldn't use the house, it had stairs. And then she didn't like the apartment because she wanted back to a house. So we sold that house. Now we just closed on another house. So this is a woman I made 4 transactions with within like the last 5 years.
I will tell you, I have started sending out letters to pre-foreclosed properties. And some of them, the lawns look really bad or whatever. I actually, in my mind, I've mentally prepared myself to pay a lawn service to come and get it show ready. Sure. Because people buy with their eyes. And if they can't visualize themselves there, it doesn't matter. They're not going to buy it. It just doesn't matter.
Well, and that's actually a key thing right there. A lot of people don't have that visual capacity. They see what they see, and they can't imagine what it would take to bring it back to the standards of what they were hoping they were going to buy into.
Yeah, that's what I was talking exactly about power of decision. Yeah. So many times, you need to take the first step. You need to do it.
I'm actually working with somebody right now who bought a foreclosed property that was in such disarray.
I know a lot of
It
foreclosure
got,
property.
we gutted it, and now I'm working with the contractor to put it back together, so it's, cause I wanna sell it for 100, he bought it for 70, so.
Yeah.
I also want to point out something that you notice that they've all sort of mentioned in common too, especially when Amy was talking about her initial one investor that led her to another, that led her. Referrals because of that service
Yes.
is what anybody who's been in the business lives on. You know, do we send out, do we go knocking? No, because they come knocking on our door.
Yes,
Let me
that's
tell
very
you.
important.
If your client is happy, I guarantee you, you will have another business coming from that client. But if you are going through a transaction just to make your commission,
Forget it.
Yeah.
forget it. You may close that transaction, but forget about that client. And then it's also your reputation. And what is important, when she was giving the example that her client didn't buy the apartment and then she took her to a house, you know, you are frustrated. Don't show it to your client. If
Never.
the client has the money, it says, you know, go to the bathroom, cry, yes, but then you come back, you know, say, you know what, it's your money, let's move on. What do you want? Of course, some people is like that because they really don't want to buy anything or cannot afford anything. At that time, you just send them whatever you want to send them. But if the person has the money, it's their money. Why they're going to spend $1.5 million in an apartment if they don't like elevators? I mean, you work 2 months, but they have the money. Let's try to find them a house. And sometimes there is people who takes a year. I have a client. It took a year to buy some investment property. He has purchased 4 now. He doesn't even come to see them. But it took me a year. It's so funny because it took me a year, they're from Venezuela, of meeting them, hosting in my house, taking them to restaurant. They didn't buy anything. But I knew they were going to buy. The 4 properties that they have purchased to me is not only to buy the properties, but to rent the properties. They haven't seen any of them.
Yeah.
They haven't seen
That
them.
happened to me in 35 years ago when I was dealing with a Venezuelan. They will come here, I picked them up at the airport. All they wanted to go was to Miracle Mile, shopping. Then they wanted to go to Publix, shopping. And then they'll pass by, oh, okay, that's fine. And that's it, and back to the airport to go home, just to sign and leave. Now I'm selling to their grandchildren. And these people look for me. I used to have my office here. I don't have my office here anymore. I am in Fort Lauderdale now. Well, they'll call me and they say, I want to buy here, I want to buy in Williams Island, or I want to go to Key Biscayne. And these people, I will drive to Key Biscayne because these were my first sales. These were the ones that started me in business. So they will come to you. They will, like she says, they will find you, they will look for you because they were very happy.
And also I want to add something here because that is what happened to me every single day. You know, reference to me, you know, that I have so many listings, that's the way that I get it, reference to reference. That is, you know, I have no web page, it's wrong, you know, don't do that, but I have no web page. I don't do any kind of advertising, you know, and I get so many listings. So, and probably all what you was talking about, that is my, you know, I guess I call myself that I am for an investment property expert. That's what I do all the time. And I don't sell one property without seeing. I already have sold for my clients, just let me guess, in 5 years, more than 100 properties without seeing. They trust my criteria. They trust the map that I made for them. They trust my taste. I buy properties on foreclosures. Even I make the construction labor for them, and then I flip the properties or I rent it out. I have my clients pretty much all from them are from like 80% from Argentina and 20% from Italy, because I have very good connection in both countries, and that's the way, you know, that I do my business, selling and buying properties, flipping properties all the time, and the clients, even they don't know their properties. You know, I have so, you know, pretty much power of attorney of all corporations to sign myself. I have in most of my clients even access to their bank accounts.
Yes, I do.
I have most of my clients, and I can tell you, just, just by coincidence, I just received, I don't know if you can see it, but this is from Spain. You know what is this? That is what I was trying to, reliability. Let me show you. Let me show you. You know what is this? White check sign.
Blank checks.